Second part, human knowledge. So man was created by God, beholden to God, and the dominion of earth and its creatures were gifted to man by God. All earthly and heavenly knowledge came to man from God willingly, until man partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right, which is the tree in the center of the garden that God forbade them to eat, or he said they would die. So this was the big thing, right? This is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There's always been a very large question, I think, we have as human beings of, is knowledge good and is knowledge evil? Is the knowledge itself, is the information itself that which you can build a foundation and make decisions off of, like, because, you know, the knowledge that we are given, how we are given it, when we are given it, and for what purpose and context we're given certain knowledge, it helps to mold not just the way we think, suppose, and act, it also informs us in just our everyday lives. So, is knowledge good? Is knowledge evil? As a Christian, as a follower, a seeker of God and his truth, and as somebody who's devoted myself to Jesus, you know, the Messiah and God, I would have to say, unfortunately, yes, there is certain knowledge that when you gain that, regardless of how you receive the knowledge, when you receive the knowledge, for what purpose you are given that knowledge, if it's even in the purpose of good intentions of the person granting you that knowledge, it can still be evil in its nature. Why? Because maybe the purpose may be good, but maybe most of the applications of this knowledge, in a practical sense, are not good, are not useful to God, and therefore not useful to you. Instead, they are paraded as like a solution, but really they're the most extreme, destructive, and hurtful, like harmful in the long term ways to deal with issues. And they come at the cost of your scruples and your morals being mislaid. So Adam and Eve ate of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. And when they did this, they got lots of knowledge. The most simple knowledge they could gain is what in fact is nudity, what in fact is sexuality, what in fact is man and woman, what in fact is shame, what in fact is pride. Those sort of things quickly changed the way they comported themselves, in everyday life. And so when God came to look for them in their shame, not only of disobedience, of breaking a promise, of stealing, right? Because he basically claimed ownership of this tree. This is the one thing he was like, this is my tree. This is not yours. You will not eat of the tree, or you will die. So not only was it a warning, a promise they made to him to not touch the tree, but it was also stealing in a way. Like they really committed an evil act. An evil act in which was not evil until they took the knowledge of the tree. Once they took knowledge of the tree and they understood ownership, they understood shame, they understood, pride and envy and all these sort of things. They hid themselves from God. They recognized their nudeness. They felt shame. They felt, pride in their bodies and said, no, people should not be able to look upon me. Because where pride comes, there comes lust. If you're not proud of yourself and then you're not able to lust. That's another whole topic about like the certain sins, certain emotions, and values that like human beings have to have. And if you don't have one value in a natural good way, or in a way that's detrimental to you, then you're basically unable to act in a certain manner. But they understood these things, and they had these natural proclivities, and they acted on them, and their whole demeanor has changed. Even without their knowing, without their permission, because knowledge informs the way that you act. Now, of course, we're like, they were lied to and sort of tricked, is that they would become like God, and that they would, be powerful like God and all-knowing like God. Now, that's true and not true. They gained a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge, just common sense almost, came, or what we call common sense, came to man. And they, Adam and Eve, were informed now and able to learn, grasp, explore, and contribute to their well of knowledge without the input of God. Where before, God was informing their decisions by feeding them this knowledge willingly from the heavens, like he was giving them knowledge, bit by bit, informing the way they thought and acted, like a parent would inform their children, right? You as a parent would want, if you are a parent, anybody watching, you would want your child to have certain values, have a certain understanding of the world, have a stern and unshaking, hopefully, foundation. And then, of course, just because they have an unshaking foundation, that doesn't mean they should use their, viewpoint to then, like, bludgeon other people or to harm others. But it means that they won't be influenced so easily or molded so easily by, like, an outside force. And that's what you want as a parent. You want them to be able to contribute, work well with people, be kind, but also have a stern foundation, a valid outlook on life, be like a well of good things. That's what you would hope. That's what you would strive for. And that's what God wanted. But of course, he didn't want his children to be mindless slaves, and he didn't want them to have no autonomy, and he didn't want them to love him because he said, love me, care for me, listen to me. He said, no. I'm going to give you this independence, this autonomy. You're going to have the freedom to do, but I want you to promise this one thing for me. He's like, you are free to do whatever. Name these animals, care for these animals, eat whatever you like, go wherever you like, bathe however you like, be with each other, find, like, companionship, be my companion. And they naturally, of course, lean towards their creator. Who does not lean towards their creator? Who does not lean on their strong foundation? Who does not want to hide in the shade of this massive monolith that is the pinnacle of everything you can imagine? Because obviously, for you to be able to create something similar, you have to aspire to be God. And so we are godly in a way, but we are not God. We require God to become godly or godlike. And so they partook of this sin, but they also partook of great amounts of knowledge. This is the way it sort of made sense to me with my supernatural experience. The way it's made sense to me. And there's a quote, a wonderful quote. Memories are the past, life is the present, and imagination is the future. Right? I would go a step further and say memories are what you know. Life is what you are learning. Imagination is what you will know. I think that imagination is almost a knowledge that's imbued within your soul. And I've talked about this before, but there's 3 different types of being, right? There's 3 components of being, and they have to be in unison. You have to work equally hard to keep all of them strong and healthy. And there's your body, the thing that moves you around on this earth. The least important, I would say, of the 3 of them, but just as important while you're alive, right? While you're living here, bound by the rules of the earth, it's important to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself mobile, and to act kindly and appreciate your body. But never be beholden to your body, only beholden to God, right? Then, of course, there's the soul. This is a vessel that lies inside of you. It is the structure of your mind, the structure of how you will it's a vessel to hold your spirit. Now then there's your spirit, and your spirit is a reflection of yourself. But your spirit is in fact godlike. It is a piece of God. It is the breath of the Almighty God. And it is the third component, and all these things must be in unison, they must be healthy, they must be fed. There was this amazing study where it was a dream study. And they found this one man, and he was a wood carver. And he did like wood carvings and woodworking and things like that. And they found that he would dream. And in his dreams, he would meet with his great-grandparents, his great-grandfather, his great-grandmother. And in these dreams, they would teach him things that he had never learned, things that he did not know, things that he had not seen somewhere else, and his subconscious was like giving him. These are completely skills that he did not have, nothing to do with his trade, nothing to do with something he experienced, right? And his great-grandparents died before he was born. He only knew it was them because when he recognized them in pictures later on, when he went through some pictures. And so there's a theory that your subconscious may actually be connected to like this ethereous plane, this place where there's almost like genetic knowledge. Now, of course, I've taken that a step farther and said that there's actually a well of knowledge passed between souls. The subconscious gene memories, right? Basically saying like there's like this ethereous plane where your subconscious pulls information that you would otherwise not know and teaches you while you're over your consciousness is sort of resting. You know, and scientists, of course, have been thinking about this forever because, like, you have a type of sleep, a REM sleep, where your subconscious is, like, populating images, faces, places, and not just that, but I also believe this is this is, like, the spirit of inspirations. This is the spirit of, like, dreams and visions and things like that, of, like, future and past events. This is how some people can predict stuff or talk about something that happened in someone's life and it happened in their family long ago and no one else knows about this family secret, but then somebody has a dream and in the dream they see this event or they're able to recall it even though they never experienced it, it never happened. And I believe it's some sort of power of the soul. It's some sort of soul tie, like a bank of information that you can actually store more. You can store multi-generational information in your soul, and your soul has this sort of connection with your mind. And so where like the place between short and long-term memory, where like let's say you forget something or you receive like a sudden inspiration, a sudden thought or plan or piece of knowledge that you never consciously thought of, never consciously gained that knowledge, suddenly you have it. And it's because there's this soulful, there's this knowledge, this human knowledge that is gifted you and gifted every man because of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because we couldn't contain this knowledge that God was supposed to give us piece by piece over an eternity. Instead, we took it all at once. We stole this. And so it passes down from every generation, from Adam and Eve on. It's been passing down this information, and it continues to keep going, passing down. And sometimes we're able to access it, and amazing things happen. Amazing advancements, amazing changes in society, changes in technology, understanding of our world, understanding of things outside our world, understanding of ourselves. It all changes and continues to grow. Okay, so that's the second part.